Hi, this is Ramachandran from onlinemathforal.com. This video is about GMAT quantitative section practice questions. Here we are going to see the question that is solve for x L negative m over 2 times x square negative L positive m over 2 times x positive m is equal to 0. So we have a quadratic equation. It has to be solved and we have to find two values for x, and we have been given four options. We just have to get the correct answer from the given four options. So for that we have to solve the given quadratic equations. Okay, so there are two ways to solve this problem. So one is we have to solve the quadratic equation and get two values for x, and we can check the given options where we have the correct answers, correct values for x. I mean in which option we have the correct values of x. So this is one way. So the second way is we can check the options in the given quadratic equation, but the second way is a bit difficult because in the given option, instead of x we just have to plug the values what we find in the option. So each and every option has to be plugged into the given equation. So when you plug let us consider option A. So we have the first value for x is 1. So this one can be easily checked because for x we just have to plug 1. But when we are trying to plug the second value of x, that is 2m over L negative m, so that would be a bit difficult when we plug x is equal to m over L negative m. So for example, in this x I'm going to plug 2m over L negative m. So then for this one also we'll have square, because we have square for x. When we take square for 2m over L negative m, and it has to be expanded, so all those things will take more work and it will take more time. So to solve this problem, the second way is not advisable. That is the way in which we are checking options, whether option A is correct, or option B is correct, or option C is correct, or option D is correct. That is, we are plugging the values in the options into the equations. So the second way is not advisable. So the first way is advisable. That is, we can solve the given quadratic equation and get two values for x. So to solve any quadratic equation, we have three methods. One is factoring, another one is quadratic formula, the third one is completing square method. So we can the students will always apply the method factoring to solve any quadratic equation. So when they have numbers as a coefficient of x square, coefficient of x, so they will apply factoring, because factoring is the method in which a quadratic equation can be solved easily. So most of the students will try to apply factoring to solve any quadratic equation. If it doesn't work, they will move to the second method, quadratic formula. Okay, and for this kind of quadratic equation, but the quadratic equation what we have in our problem is a little bit different from the ordinary quadratic equation. So because in other quadratic equation like 3x square positive 2x, so 3x square positive 5x positive 6 is equal to 0. So this is a quadratic equation. So for this quadratic equation, easily we can apply the method factoring, and the quadratic equation 3x square positive 5x positive 6 is equal to 0 can be solved. Even if you apply quadratic formula, this quadratic equation can be solved easily, so that won't be a problem. But our quadratic equation is not like that, because in this quadratic equation the coefficient of x square is 3, coefficient of x is 5, and the constant term is 6. But in our problem we don't have numbers in coefficient of x square, coefficient of x, and also in constant term. So we have L negative m over 2, L positive m over 2, and the constant term is m. So when students see this kind of quadratic problems, I mean the quadratic equation what we have in our question, so what they will do is it's a bit difficult to apply the method factoring to solve this particular quadratic equation. So since we don't have numbers as coefficient for x square and also x, since we don't have numbers, this one cannot be solved using the method factoring. So we have to try quadratic formula. So when we are trying to quadratic formula, we have to get the value of we have to get the value of a. So that is nothing but the coefficient of x square, because we have to compare the given quadratic equation to the general form of a quadratic equation, that is ax square positive bx positive c is equal to 0. So when we compare, so instead of a we have L negative m over 2, instead of b we have L positive m I mean negative of L positive m over 2. Instead of c we have m. So we have to plug these values for a, b, c into the quadratic formula. I think trying quadratic formula also will be a difficult one. So for this quadratic equation, okay, so let us try to apply the method factoring to solve this particular quadratic equation. So before I'm going to apply the method factoring for this particular quadratic equation, I'm just going to make some changes in the given quadratic equation. So what is that is, I'll just show you here. First let me write the given quadratic equation, that is L negative m over 2 times x square negative L positive m over 2 times x positive m is equal to 0. Now if I don't have the denominator 2 here, so I think the equation will become simple. So to get rid of this denominator 2, I'm just going to multiply the equation by 2 on both sides. When I do so, I'll be getting 2 times L negative m over 2 times x square negative 2 times L positive m over 2 times x positive 2 times m is equal to 2 times 0 will be 0. I'll just multiply the entire equation by 2 on both sides. On the right side I have not multiplied by 2, actually I have multiplied. So when 0 is multiplied by 2, again it will become 0. So here this 2 will get cancelled, this 2 will get cancelled. So we'll have L negative m times x square. And also one more change I am going to make in this step, and that is I am just going to make this negative sign as positive here, and I'm going to take this negative sign inside. So that is I have to take negative sign distributor, I have to distribute negative sign to both L and M. So when I do so, instead of the parenthesis I allow negative L negative m times x positive 2m is equal to 0. Students, so far I have done two things in the given quadratic equation. So in the given quadratic equation, in the coefficient of x square I had denominator 2, coefficient of x also I had denominator 2. So to avoid the denominator, I mean to get rid of the denominators, I just multiply the entire equation by 2 on both sides. When I do so, the 2 and 2 will get cancelled in the coefficient of x square and also in the coefficient of x. In the third step, the change what I have made is I need a positive sign here. I mean instead of this negative, I just need positive. So I just take the negative sign as positive, and then I just took this negative inside the parenthesis. That is I distribute this negative to both L and M. When I do so, inside of the parenthesis it will be negative L negative M. So this is a quadratic equation I have now. Now I'm going to apply the method factoring to solve this quadratic equation. So I'll show you how this one can be solved using factoring on the next page. Please give me a moment. So the quadratic equation what we have now is L negative M times x square positive negative L negative m times x positive 2m is equal to 0. So this is a quadratic equation we have on our previous page. Now whenever we solve any quadratic equation, so by using the method factoring, so we have to multiply the constant term by the coefficient of x square. So students, please listen to me carefully. So if you want to solve any quadratic equation using the method factoring, so the constant term to be multiplied by the coefficient of x square along with the sign. Here the sign of the constant term is positive, and here we don't have sign in front of the coefficient of x square. We can assume there is positive sign. So when I multiply, so I'll be getting positive times positive will be positive, and 2m times negative 2m times L negative m will be 2m times L negative m, and here we have positive, and here also we have positive sign. Positive times positive will be positive. So we have to multiply the constant term and the coefficient of x square along with the signs. Positive and positive will become positive. So now what we have to do is we just have to factor this particular part into two factors. So the multiplication of the two factors must be equal to this value positive 2m times L negative m. The addition of those two factors must be equal to the middle term, so which is a coefficient of x. Okay, now I am going to factor. So I just factor positive 2m times positive L negative m. So the two factors I have taken here is positive 2m, positive L negative m. So when I multiply these two factors, first I have to multiply the signs. Positive times positive will become positive. Here we have positive. 2m times L negative m will be the same. Okay, the multiplication of these two factors is equal to positive 2m times L negative m. Now we have to find addition of these two factors and whether the sum of these two factors is equal to the middle term L negative m. Okay, we can check it out. So 2m positive L negative m. I'm just going to add these two factors. So when I do so, positive 2m negative m can be simplified. We get L positive m. But here at the middle term we have negative L negative m. But the sum of the two factors is equal to positive L positive m. So the two factors what we have taken for this particular thing is not correct. So we have to try some other two factors. Now in these two factors I'm just going to make a little change, that is negative 2m L negative m. So here I have taken negative. If it is positive, negative times positive will be negative, but here we need positive. So again the thing what I have taken is not correct, so I take negative in the second factor also. When I do so, negative times negative will become positive. 2m times L negative m will be 2m times L negative m. So now the multiplication of these two factors is equal to positive 2m times L negative m. Okay, now the second thing what we have to check is we have to find the sum of these two factors. The sum of these two factors must be equal to negative L negative m, that is the middle term of quadratic equation. So let us try to find sum of these two factors, negative 2m negative of L negative m. So negative 2m, so negative has to be distributed both L and negative m. When I do so, negative L, negative times negative will become positive, so it will be positive m. So negative L, this negative 2m, this positive 2m. If they are simplified, we get negative m. So when we add these two factors, we get the result negative L negative m, that is exactly we have on the middle term, which is a coefficient of x. So the two factors what we have taken now is correct. So negative 2m negative of L negative m. So now we have factored. So the first step is okay. The second step what we have to do is we have to divide these two factors by the coefficient of x square. So because this is the second step in the process of factoring quadratic equation, so always the two factors to be divided by the coefficient of x square. Now what I am going to do is I am going to divide these two factors by the coefficient of x square. So the coefficient of x square is nothing but L negative m. So when I divide, so the L negative m will get cancelled. So here we can't cancel in the first factor or anything. So the first factor will remain same, 2m negative 2m over L negative m. The second factor becomes negative 1 when I divide the two factors by L negative m. So from these two factors easily we get two values for x. So how can we get two values for x from these two factors? So we have to take opposite of the signs of the two factors. So opposite of this sign will be positive, opposite of this sign also will be positive, because we have a negative sign in the first factor. So opposite of that is positive. In the second factor also we have negative sign, opposite of that is positive. So now we have taken opposite sign for those two factors. So those are the two values of x. So here x is equal to 2m over L negative m, comma, the second value is 1. Just have to take opposite sign of the two factors. So when we take opposite sign of the two factors, so those are the two values of x. So the solution set can be written as 1 comma 2m over L negative m. So this is the solution set 1 comma 2m over L negative m. So now the problem has been solved by using the method factoring. So when we see this problem like L negative m times x square positive negative L negative m times x positive 2m is equal to 0. So the students may think this problem cannot be solved using factoring. So it has to be solved only using the quadratic formula. Because actually if we use quadratic formula, it will take more time, it will take more work whenever we don't have numbers as coefficient of x square, coefficient of x, and also constant term. If you have numbers exactly like 3, 2, 5, something like that as coefficient of x square, coefficient of x, and constant term, the quadratic equation can easily be solved in quadratic formula. But when we don't have numbers, instead of numbers we have alphabets, and also even in the coefficient of x square the two alphabets are subtracted, and also in the coefficient of x we have two alphabets. So in this kind of quadratic equation, so solving this kind of quadratic equation using quadratic formula is a bit difficult. So for that we have to try the same method factoring, but we just have to apply some tricks. So the first thing what I made is I just made some changes in the given quadratic equation. So that is we had denominator 2 in the coefficient of x square and also in the coefficient of x. So to get rid of that, I just multiplied the given quadratic equation multiply the given quadratic equation by 2. So when I do so, will not have the denominators. The next thing the next step what I did is I just took positive sign for the coefficient of x, and the negative sign I took it inside the parenthesis. So thereafter I just solve the quadratic equation using the method factoring. So in that situation the quadratic equation could be solved easily using the method factoring, and we got two values for x. They are 1 and 2m over L negative m. So option A is correct. I hope now the students can understand how this kind of quadratic equation can be solved using the method factoring. Okay students, for more videos like this, please visit www.onlinemathforall.com. Thank you.